everyone. In today's lecture, we will be studying complete detailed structure of cell membrane, where we will be majorly focusing on different types of lipid molecules that are present in the cell membrane. So let's begin. So here you can see the complete structure of cell membrane, where it is made up of lipid bilayer. Means these lipid molecules are forming one monolayer, and these lipid molecules are forming another monolayer, and together they constitute to form lipid bilayer. And if we focus on these lipid molecules, they are generally amphipathic in nature. Amphipathic in nature means this is actually called as the polar head, which is in contact with the aqueous environment, and this is called as the hydrophobic tail or the non-polar tail, which is actually a water hater. Means this region of the lipid bilayer is called as the hydrophobic core or the hydrophobic environment, where there is no water molecule or no polar molecule allowed to pass through this region. Apart from this, you can also see a large molecule that is spanning through the cell membrane, whose one part is in contact with the extracellular side and another part is in contact with the cytosolic side. So this molecule is called as the integral membrane protein. Also, you can see another molecule which is actually not spanning through any monolayer, but it is associated with the polar head of the lipid molecule, and this molecule is called as the peripheral membrane protein. So also you can here see some different structures like phospholipid, glycolipid and cholesterol. So these are majorly the three classes of lipid molecules which we need to discuss in this lecture. So generally there are almost 500 to 1000 different lipid species present in a cell membrane, but these are the three major classes, out of which phospholipid, this is actually present in 75 percentage part of the cell membrane. Means this is the major contributor of lipid molecules in the cell membrane. That is why we generally say that a cell membrane is made up of phospholipid bilayer. Secondly, here you can see another lipid molecule, which is glycolipid, and it constitutes about 5% of total lipids in the cell membrane. And this glycolipid means actually a oligosaccharide chain or a carbohydrate chain attached to a lipid molecule. So when this oligosaccharide or any carbohydrate chain is attached to a membrane protein, then we call it as glycoproteins. And generally, these oligosaccharide chain or any carbohydrate moiety is attached to cell membrane towards the extracellular side, and it has a huge significance to play out there, like in preventing cell from any chemical or mechanical damage, and secondly from specific cell recognition processes. So these third lipid molecule, which you can see here, is cholesterol, which constitute about 20% of lipid molecules in the cell membrane. So let us now understand these three lipid molecules in details with the help of their structures. So by now you know that a lipid is classified into three major classes. One is the phospholipid, second is the glycolipid, and third is the sterol. Now this phospholipid and glycolipid, they are a type of complex lipid, and the sterol, it's a type of derived lipid. And actually there is third more category, which is the simple lipid, which is actually not present in the cell membrane, but they are generally storage lipids. An example of such simple lipids which are storage lipids is the triacylglycerol, which is present in the adipose tissue. Now, if we here look at the phospholipid, it is further classified into glycerophospholipid and sphingophospholipid. Now, if you look at the structure of glycerophospholipid, it is made up of a glycerol backbone which is connected to two fatty acid Y and aster linkage, and its third hydroxyl is connected to a small polar head group which is phosphate, and it is further connected to a small head group. Now, this small head group, it can be either choline or ethanolamine or serine or inositol. Now, based on which small head group is present, we can completely name this structure. So here you can see that this part of the structure, like this part, this is called as phosphatidic acid or phosphatidyl. So if here the small group is choline, then we can name this structure as phosphatidylcholine. So next, if this small group is ethanolamine, then we can name this structure as phosphatidylethanol-amine. So likewise, you can also name the other two structures. So here, secondly, if we look at sphingophospholipid, it is made up of sphingosine backbone. So remember this fact that in case of glycerophospholipid, we saw that it is made up of glycerol backbone. But in case of sphingophospholipid, it is made up of sphingosine backbone. Now this sphingosine, its amino group is connected to fatty acid via an amide linkage, and its primary hydroxyl is connected to a small polar phosphate head which is further connected to a small head group. Now again, this small head group, it can be either choline or ethanolamine, and the example of this structure can be sphingomyelin, which is present in the myelin sheet of the nerve cells. Now, if we look at the second category, which is the glycolipid, it is also classified into glycosphingolipid. And if we look at its structure, it is made up of sphingosine backbone whose amino group is connected to a fatty acid by amide linkage, and its primary hydroxyl is connected to a carbohydrate by an glycosidic linkage. Now, this carbohydrate, it can be either simple sugar or complex sugar. If the carbohydrate is simple sugar, then we name the structure as cerebroside, and if the carbohydrate is complex sugar, then we call it as ganglioside. Now, if we look at these two structures, here we can see that both are made up of sphingosine backbone, right? So they also come under a type of sphingolipid. Okay, so next if we see the third category, which is the sterol, the example of these sterols can be cholesterol, which is present in the animal cell membrane, and phytosteroids, which is present in the plant cell membrane, and ergosterol, which is present in the fungal cell membrane. So this was the complete classification of lipid molecules present in the cell membrane. So I hope you have completely understood this topic, and we will be discussing about further details of cell membrane in our next lectures. So thank you so very much for watching this video.